Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Temple City City Council to order. Madam Clerk, if we could have roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Chen?
Here.
Councilmember Mann?
Here.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Here.
Mayor Chavez?
Here. Okay, thank you. Tonight's invocation will be given by our close friend, Pastor Kelty from the Community of Christ Church, who will provide tonight's invocation. So I would ask everyone to please stand. And after the invocation, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
O our divine Creator, we thank you that we are able to meet here this evening to conduct the business of the city of Temple City. We do so with the desire that through what we do here tonight, what we do in the future, might make this a better community where all are welcome, caring, and loving through harmony, working together, and good works. We offer prayer this evening to you that the circle that we do tonight might span beyond us, that this community might expand itself to take in those communities and share that good things that we do with them. Therefore, we thank thee and lift this prayer that we do tonight, tomorrow, and the following day may indeed make this state, city, nation, a place worthy of your love, even as we're worthy of your love always. This we ask in all humility. Amen.
Amen. Now, before we move on to our Pledge of Allegiance, so that we stay on the agenda and our Mr. City Attorney doesn't get mad at me, I do have a little bit of a special presentation to make. As all of you know, Pastor Kelty is with us pretty much second meeting of every month, I think, like clockwork. And comes and shares his words of grace with us and does it in a upbeat manner. And even more importantly, he stays for most of the meeting, doesn't leave. So that's very nice.
I'm a masochist.
There you go. Well, whatever you are, we appreciate it.
I just love coming.
So in order to show our gratitude, we have for you a little Temple City swag bag.
Oh,
Okay? And so I'm going to come up here and present it to you. If I could ask the council members to come up with me and we can get a great picture. How's that? Okay? So you've got a little bag and there's stuff in it, but you can open that later, okay?
thank you very
All
much.
right. You're very welcome. All right. Come over and stand in the middle with the bag. There you go.
I hate pictures of me.
I know, right? There you go. How's that? There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
I told you how to break the
All right,
camera.
good job. Okay, you will all please stand, place your right hand over your heart, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please be seated. Okay, we'll now move on to item 5, ceremonial matters, and there is none. I didn't want to upset the agenda, but we just had kind of a similar one, but there is no ceremonial matters this evening. We will now move on to item 6, public comments on items that are not listed on the agenda. I have a couple of speaker request forms, and Jing, you want to go ahead and start us off?
I have a house full of August.
Yeah, there you go. Let's make it a good one.
Publicity. Good evening, Mayor Chavez and City Council. This is Jeannie from Temple City Library. I'm here tonight to talk about our upcoming library programs. Our annual bookmark contest started early this year, actually starting yesterday. So the deadline to submit the entrance form is October 5th. And then you can pick up the entrance form at the library, or you can go online to download it. If you are new to our events, that's going to be, this is the annual events hosted by the county library. This year is our 45 years has been doing this. See, this program is to encourage a love of books and reading, while also promoting creativity, artistic expression, and community engagement. So the participants can compete in the following age category: kindergarten to second grade, third grade to fifth grade, sixth grade to eighth grade, and then high school. And almost every year, we have a winner for the whole district, which is the 5th district. So, if you're interested, you can drop off the form at the library or send it by mail or submit online. So in addition to our regular programs for children and teens, such as storytime, art activity, and we actually partnered with the county's Department of Mental Health, so they can offer programs for older adults. So this month we have a program will be held on Thursday, September 26th. It's bilingual program, so the Chinese section starts at 1:30, and then afterwards will be the English section. So the English section starts, I believe, it's 2:30. So the topic is about scams. So they'll teach you how to identify scam, what's the tips on preventing and deal with the scams. So for more information, please go visit our website, lacountylibrary.org, or call us at 626-285-2136. I'm here to answer any question you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jing. Are there any questions from council? No, thank you. We look forward to it. The bookmarks are always a highlight of our season. In fact, I use them on my book, so very good job. Thank you. Okay, next we have Miss Ling Wu from Relay for Life. If you want to come on up, please. Come to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor Tom Chavez and City Councilman. I don't know if you remember me. I was here 13 years ago, year 2010.
I remember.
Thank you. I remember you too.
That was the second year I was on council. I do remember.
Yes, so
I'm still here. And now you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. So just a little bit history that I started volunteering for American Cancer Society since 2000. In 2010, I was on AAPI team, and I was looking to see if there's Chinese volunteer in ACS. It turned out there's none in Southern California. There's a big team, 1,000 people team in Northern California. So I applied for Relay for Life, the American Cancer Society, hoping to recruit volunteers and increase service to the Chinese community. So I applied, they agreed. So 2010, and we look around San Gabriel Valley because there's more Chinese population. And we ended up in Temple City because we feel it's the best location. So our first year was in Temple City High School. It was a 24-year event. And I think we then moved to the Live Oak Park for about 2 years. And the last year we were here, a Temple City resident decided instead of Chinese Relay for Life, they want a Temple City Relay for Life. So we were advised by American Cancer Society to move to another city. So we ended up in Monterey Park, then we moved to Arcadia. So we've been in Arcadia for a few years, and because of pandemic, we moved from outdoor to indoor. We found Chinese really don't like too much sunshine. So we do an indoor event, but we do have a walk, which we walk from the inside of the community center to the parking lot and walking back. But we have to have the survival walk. So this year, it turned out the Arcadia Community Center is not available. So I said, why don't we go see Temple City Community Center if we can use their location? It turned out it is available. So we decided, and I told everybody, this is our favorite location. So we decided to come back. So I'm here to let you know that we're coming back to Temple City. We'll be in community center Live Oak Community Center, September 28th, from 1 to 5 p.m. We have reduced the time also because we're getting old. We really can't work that much.
We all are, don't worry.
We do the best we can, but it's a very fun event, and because it's right next to the park, I think we probably can do a longer walk than in the Acadia Community Center. And so ACS asked me to come to the chamber and ask if you can be our sponsor and waive the fees, because we learned that you do waive fee for the Temple City Relay. And we did talk to the Temple City committee. It seems they are not coming back for a few years. They don't have a leader yet. But anyway, so that's one thing, is to ask for sponsorship. Another one is to invite you to join us, because when we were here, I remember the city council actually had a team, and we did a walk, and we had pictures, great picture of that. So we'd like to invite the city council to join us, consider joining us. Now, of course, we love to have a speaker for the opening ceremony. And we already asked the staff to send letters to previous participants to come and join us, previous Temple City Relay participants to join us. So that's the intention. And I want to show you, in the package I gave you, I just want to show you, ever since we started Relay for Life, we started many other activities hoping to benefit the community. So we have monthly Mandarin speaking survivor online event right now. It was a live event, online event. We have youth ambassador program. So we have youth multimedia contest for medical, for health topics. We also have youth recycling program, monthly youth ambassador meeting, and annual Asian American Cancer Information Symposium. It has been in City of Hope, but it's a very large symposium for the Asian American community. So I think starting from you, we have evolved to many other things besides a Relay for Life event to benefit the community. I think by coming back here, we can also benefit the Temple City youth and adults more than before. So we have our volunteers, parents, and youth volunteer here. It turned out one of the youth volunteers is actually the leader of the ACS club in Temple City High School. So very happy about it. Then we can, invite the Temple City High School students. Yes. Okay. So is there any question?
Well, we want to thank you, first of all, for coming, and thank you for considering us and coming back to Temple City. I do remember the events we had back in early 2010, and those years, they were very successful events, if I recall.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, because this is not an agenda item, we cannot take any action regarding your requests as far as co-sponsoring, anything like that. What we have to do, I believe, is to get it on our next agenda.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you can give the details to our city manager, Brian Cook, whatever he needs, or he can contact you to get that on our next agenda so that we could formally take a look at it and make a decision on that, if that's okay.
Yes, yes.
Just, the kind of the rules, I guess you could say.
I understand, because
But we're very happy to have you back, and one way or another, it sounds like you're going to have it at Live Oak Park, and I can remember. And you know what we have at Live Oak Park that we didn't have when you were there last time? We actually have a walking path.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
whether you are going to take advantage of that or not, we'll see, I guess.
Okay.
But I do remember, and we had the walking path over by the courts, and we've got a few changes, however, at Live Oak. Part of our playground is going to be probably under construction at that time, so we'll have to work with you on something like that to avoid that area. But,
Yes, we
but I'm sure it can
actually-
be
Thank you.
taken care of.
Yeah, I already went there, when I booked
Yeah.
the place, and we are going to go back and
Okay.
investigate and see what we can do and about the path. And there's one more request I forgot to say. I remember when we were here, you were so nice to us. We were able to use your Commerce, City of Commerce location.
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, okay, to office to run meetings. And so, because it's very hard to find place to meeting. Of course, not right now we can do online meeting, but we still have a few meetings we would like to do live. actually, one coming up is August 31st. We would like to gather the survivors and committee members, sponsors, doctors together and to have a live gathering, which we don't have for the longest time. So I wonder if we can also get sponsorship in a location, maybe also in the same.
Well, the chamber has moved, they're not in the same location. And
Right.
I know that the space you're talking about is the office space they had there.
Yes.
That's something that you can discuss with Brian as well.
Okay.
And also the chamber, and we can give you the information for that as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, and I
All
guess
right.
lastly, we want a speaker for opening ceremony.
Say that
So,
again?
Speaker for opening
you want a
ceremony.
speaker?
Yeah.
I think
well,
the
we'll
mayor
see
would
what
be
we can
happy
do.
to go.
I'll have to check my calendar. That's on a Saturday,
Saturday,
September 28th.
1 o'clock.
Let me check my calendar and see what's going on, and if I don't have any conflicting, I will definitely be there.
Okay.
And I'm
So-
sure all of us who can will be there as well.
Thank you.
So thank you.
So did I ask a volunteer to stand up? Did I? Okay. Volunteers, please stand
Okay, well,
up.
thank you.
The Temple City students?
Yeah, I know. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, I will close public comments. We will now move on to the consent calendar. I believe that should, Mr. Murphy, should we wait for our city manager to come back, or did you want to
I
do
can take it,
that?
Mr. Mayor. Item B needs to be pulled and continued to September 3rd because there have been some amendments to it that need to be looked at. The rest of the calendar can go forward, sir.
Okay, so why don't we get that out of the way? Can we have a motion to move item B to when?
To our next meeting of
To our
September
next meeting,
3rd.
first meeting in September. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if we could have roll call on that item only?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, I do have one speaker request on item 7D. So I'll go ahead, and we already took care of B for you. Thank you, sir. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that for now, and then we'll get that speaker. Why don't we get a motion on the balance of the items on the consent calendar, other than item D?
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, item D, which is the approval of agreement with the Temple City Chamber of Commerce. And Mr. Jambazian, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Jerry Jambazian, 9136 Los Tunas Drive, Temple City. And first of all, I'd like to say I am a cancer survivor and have served on the Temple City Committee since its inception, but just want to remind you that it is the same day as our classic car show and fall festival. So I don't know if that's going to be a conflict or not as far as some of the time goes. So I just want to remind you of that.
Well, they're in different locations,
Yes,
yes.
yeah, okay. Well, forgive me, I'm going to read this only because I jotted down some notes this afternoon, and if I did not read it, I would be all over the place, so hopefully I'll get through this. I would like to speak to you about the renewal of the service agreement with the Chamber and the city. The new agreement calls for Temple City Life to be published only quarterly going forward. This is a significant reduction in services. We do not have a weekly publication in Temple City called, we do have a weekly publication in Temple City called Temple City Tribune. Besides the masthead having the name Temple City in it, I would challenge you to find any news of Temple City in it. It is filled with stories from Riverside and San Bernardino counties. You can find the publication in the lobby of our City Hall. The Chamber is given $5,200 per month for services. In my estimation, the city and its taxpayers are not getting the bang for their buck. There was a time when at least one member of their board would attend every council meeting. Temple City Life was a sought-after publication for news of Temple City. Over 5,000 copies were published monthly and distributed to key locations throughout the city. That isn't happening. Now they want to only publish once every 3 months with 500 copies and no distribution. The publication was 24 pages. Now it has morphed into 8 pages with mostly advertising. I would respectfully ask that they should publish monthly at a minimum and should publish at least a monthly digital copy. As I celebrate being inducted as president of the Chamber of Commerce 50 years ago, I'm not asking to go back to the good old days, but I merely ask that you demand more from our chamber. Possibly the city's $62,500 a year could be better used for a public information officer whose responsibility would be to promote all the good things in Temple City. I would further add that they should expand their board of directors with business members of our city with brick and mortar stores. I'm just going to conclude by saying you've listened to me and you're probably going to approve this just the way it stands. But I want you to know my feelings, that you just keep kicking this can down the road and you're not demanding more from the chamber. They're getting by giving you less, and that needs to change if we're going to have a vibrant chamber and a community. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay, does anybody else wish to comment on this matter? If not, then I will entertain a motion.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes,
Can I ask a question?
sure, of course. Go ahead. Of Jerry?
No, of
Yeah, go ahead.
our city manager. Do you recall if the compensation for the chamber has changed much?
It has
over the
stayed
last-
static for the last 3 fiscal years.
Okay.
So there's been no growth in the compensation. And for not the compensation, excuse me, not compensation, the funding that's to contract out them for professional services.
Okay. And for clarification, the current, I don't want to really call them a vendor, but the current entity that's running the chamber has only done it for
1 year.
1 year.
Yes, they just completed their first full year this year.
Okay. And can you maybe in short articulate the rationale behind the reduction in the publication?
Most certainly. The challenges that the chamber has expressed, and we've dealt with it as well, is that the publication, while a important civic engagement tool, in terms of content and the cost of production has gone up significantly. So the last couple of years, they've only been distributing 500 copies per month prior. Even for us, in the cost of dealing with Connect as well, our cost have escalated, and that's why we reduced our amount of our additions of Connect as well. So part of it is the amount of cost of production, the just paper costs and everything else. They are looking towards other tools and other manners in which to communicate to the public at large, either via social media, other networking opportunities. They're looking for other venues. It's not one that they're stopping in terms of a tool and a mechanism to talk to the community and get information to the community, but something they're looking towards. So there won't be this gap every other month where there's no communication from the Chamber of Commerce to community members via social media or otherwise.
And it's currently monthly.
It is currently monthly.
So that's a significant change.
It is a change, absolutely.
Okay, are there any other questions? Go ahead.
Just maybe to just follow, sorry. Maybe just a follow-up question to Mr. City Manager.
Yes, sir.
Other than reduction in the number of Temple City Live publications, I believe when I browse through the agreement, proposed agreement here, it appears to be similar to what we had before.
Yes, and we're actually asking the Chamber of Commerce, and the example of that had just finished with TC Bites and other types of events and activities that we're asking the Chamber of Commerce to do in terms of outreaching and working with our business community. Our restaurants are one of our largest tax bases for sales tax in the community. So Chamber came up with an idea. So they're looking for different ways it may to engage with the community and have the community engage with the business community as well. And TC Bites is one of those. The scope to your point, Mayor Pro Tem Yu, in general aspects is the same, but we are pushing them to do things like TC Bites and other programs to expand both their presence in the community, but also the engagement between the community and the business community as well.
Do we know the exact cost savings by going, what was it, the amount, excuse me, from going from quarterly to, from monthly to quarterly?
I don't have that right off the bat. I can get that. We can get that for you.
Are you talking about our magazine or
No, not our magazine.
Temple City Life.
Temple City Life, the amount of savings that they will actually save, the dollar amount.
I can get that for you, but I just sorry I don't have that offhand.
John's here. Can we ask him?
If John is, well, if
John,
the mayor,
do you know offhand?
Yeah,
Yes.
come on up, John.
Good evening, members of the City Council. John Bueri, CEO of the Temple City Chamber of Commerce. Councilmember Sternquist, the savings, the direct savings is approximately $1,500 a month that we don't publish. So just full disclosure, the hard cost is just for the printing of only 500 copies. It's about $1. It's more than $1 an issue to print. And so we're looking at, for the 8 pages. And so we're looking at, and then there's the editorial cost and then some minor other costs that are amortized over the course of the year. So you're looking at saving approximately $1,500 per issue that you don't publish. And so if we go from 12 to 5, that's 8, it's 12, 11, $10,000, somewhere around there. And so that's the savings there.
You know, when I first read it, I looked at it and I thought, oh, I don't know if I like that because I'm accustomed to having it monthly. And I think going from, 12 copies a year, excuse me, to 4 is significant. I think it's significant for the community who looks forward to having that. I'm not so worried about the amount of items being published but I think even if we went to 6 months, I think it's just, and see how that goes. But to go from, 12 to 4, it just seems like a lot when people so look forward to that. I know I do.
Didn't we make a similar move with our monthly publication?
yeah, we went from 4 issues of Connect to 3, but one of the 3 is more of like, we tried what was called Rec Connect for a little while, but from a branding standpoint, it was a little difficult. So that 3rd edition of Connect every year is lighter, I would say, on the stories. It's just more of the recreational guide. And so we go down with pages as well on that 3rd edition.
But it's more than 8 pages.
Yeah, it is more, but we put a lot of production value into Connect as well.
I'm wondering if we even have enough information to fill 8 pages every month. We're a pretty quiet city. I think my concern from what Jerry has said is, why do we allow Tribune to use Temple City in their name? Seems to be false advertising, and maybe that's for another day, but I've always thought that. I picked up that Temple City Tribune for years, and Jerry's right, there's not one story on Temple City in that whole thing. and yet it keeps getting published with our name on it. But to me, that's the bigger deal, but at any rate. Are there any other questions or concerns of the council since we have John up here? You know, go ahead.
I do have
Go ahead.
one more. Since I was the council's liaison to the chamber last year when they were undergoing a lot of changes, so maybe John, since you're here, can you articulate a little bit about the chamber and the board's plans for this coming year as it relates to not just the programming changes that are kind of in the works, but also the concept of the board really trying to strive towards financial independence, for
Sure.
lack of a better word.
Sure.
Because I'll say one more thing. I think that was one of the hot topics in the board discussions was a lot of chambers are really quasi-independent entities in and of themselves, because there is a board that runs it. So it's different when a city is fully funding a lot of the activities versus a board or versus a chamber that is able to kind of stand on its own, right? And has that goal changed from the board's standpoint, or is that still the long-term goal?
It is the long-term goal. I would just share that coming out of the pandemic, and you saw this firsthand here, but I think it replicates in communities across the San Gabriel Valley and across Southern California, probably everywhere, frankly. But I know here in the San Gabriel Valley and across LA County, chambers of commerce struggled to manage what came after that. You know, the initial blip of what happened, we got a fusion of funds and everyone was okay for a minute, but then when it came back and things were coming back, the change in nature of the way that businesses interacted with each other, their margins, their abilities, where they were cutting and where they were spending their money. So when we arrived, there was and I've been here just over a year, there was not the financial stability that we have been able to establish in the first 12 months of being here, 14 months I've been here. And our goal in the long term is to continue to wean ourselves from dependence, I should say dependence, from city funds, but rather look at that as a partnership that actually benefits the business community and the city. And that's what we're moving towards in this new agreement for this year. What you'll find, as indicated and discussed, is the reduction of Temple City Life issues. But what you also find is an increase in programmatic services and marketing services for the region, or for the city in the region. So having the events like Temple City Night Bites, we have a robust workforce development initiative that piloted over the summer that will, in the fall, launch as a way to get high school students work exposure. We're also working to deal with, to address those that are returning from college, coming back to their community and looking for jobs, whether it's here or in the greater community. And so really leaning in on the workforce development. We're trying to lead on public safety, as you know, and even today, interacting with our sheriff to come back to Temple City as he did this year, again in February, to have this be the seat of public safety for the San Gabriel Valley with that State of Public Safety event. They've already committed, we're just looking at the date and time to do that again. And then we look at opportunities to partner on true economic development. Like what do our businesses need? We're actually talking one-on-one to businesses, being that ombudsman service, and reaching out to understand the pulse of the community as it changes. And I think we can just drive up and down Las Tunas today versus a year ago, and you're seeing a difference of businesses, both corporate and otherwise. Some are coming in, some are leaving, and I think it's our role as the Chamber of Commerce to advocate not to you, but on your behalf as the city leadership for a stronger economy. And that's at the state level, at the federal level, at the county level as well. And so I think what you're seeing in front of you is the transition of an organization from what had been done a lot, and how do we evolve into what's needed by our members and the business communities at large. And I think that's the piece I want to remind folks about, is that we are not in service just of our members. Right now, if we would just be serving the limited members that we have. But I see our responsibility as serving the entire business community, and with the city's support through these very specific tasks, as listed in the agreement, we're able to serve all businesses, regardless of whether they're a member or not, big or small, and work to address the needs that they might have. Some of those things are simple solutions, making a connection to city staff member about a parking issue or something like that. Some of them are longer term, where we're talking about, for instance, in the real estate sector. We have a real estate committee that's working to improve property values here. That's a long-term exercise. It doesn't happen overnight or the publishing of one document, but we're working our ways to address these critical needs. And so I hope that sort of addresses some of the things that we're working on and where we're headed. And I think that our goal is to be nimble and responsive to the needs of the community, with the business community first, but the greater community as a whole.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Are you our liaison now?
Yes,
Have
Mr.
you-
Mayor.
Have you attended a meeting?
I was able to make a couple meetings.
Okay.
I'll just say that, if I may, Mr. Mayor, the chamber, under the leadership of John and Stratoscope, has injected so much energy. I feel with regards to the events, and we've been to the Summer Night Bites, and as well as looking at the composition of the board, seeing that there's an earnest effort to recruit, and I see Board Member Ben from Starbucks here today. Thank you. But I also recognize Jerry's leadership, being a longtime business owner in the city, and whose service on the chamber, and those times I got to serve with Jerry on the board briefly when I was in a different capacity, and I think it comes from a genuine place of, okay, we love the things that you're doing, but we want more. So I think these transition as mayor, I still call you liaison or mayor man, has talked about. It's part of a growing pain of an organization as it transitions. So I'm willing to see it out. I think people take in information differently these days. They acquire information or they learn about news differently than the traditional print model. And while it's a huge service to the community, but I also feel like there are many other avenues that we are getting the word out to our residents. And I just wanted to add that brief comment.
Thank you, appreciate it. I personally like the direction that our chamber is moving in at this point. Certainly a lot more so than I did a couple of years ago. I know since I've become mayor, I've had the opportunity to attend many of the chamber events, and I've enjoyed every one of them. I know that those are maybe small baby steps at this time, but it's a step in the right direction as far as I see. And I know there's a lot of other things that you guys have discussed and are on the horizon, and I think more than justify, our so-called partnership with you. I did want to say, and I might as well say it now, we just concluded our Temple City Night Bites, is that what we called it?
Summer Night Bites.
Summer Night Bites, there you go. What a success. And I don't just say that personally, but based on the people that I've talked to who actually attended those events, just loved it. And not only did the people who attended love it, but the business owners and the managers of those businesses, when we would show up, when Brian and I would show up at those locations, they were like just amazed that we would take the time to visit them and talk with them. And they were all so professional, so nice, and you could really tell that they really truly cared about Temple City. And this was one way of showing that and bringing people in. I know in talking with some of the businesses that participated, they also commented the fact that people told them, "Oh, I didn't know you were here, I'm coming back," which really is the whole idea behind it. The roundtables we've had, for the most part, have been successful. Allowed people to come and listen to local leaders talk about what's going on in the region, asking questions. Those have all been a step in the right direction as well. So I just think at this time, I think the question before us is, do we have the faith in going forward with this, in working together with you and seeing this thing through? As we know, it doesn't change overnight, maybe not as fast for some people, maybe too fast for others, but I see it moving in the right direction. So unless there are any other questions at this time, I'm ready to entertain a motion on item D of the consent calendar.
Mayor Chavez, I would make a motion to approve consent calendar item 7D.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if we could have roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks, everyone. You know, it's these are one of those kind of things that I think we all have a part in, and we all hope that everything's going to turn out to be successful. So time will tell. Okay. And then we need to work on that Temple City Tribune one day. I have to ask our city attorney to look into that further.
Sounds like a good project for Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, it would be. Truthfully, I don't even know why we have it in City Hall, to be honest with you. But it's there. Okay. All right, now we will move on to item number 8. Get my thing. Public hearing, there is none. Unfinished business, number 9, there's none. New business, item 10, none. Item 11, update from Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez and members of the council. Briefly, there's a lot of construction going on in the city right now. I just want to briefly go over it. Want to first thank the community for their patience. On Encinita right now is the sewer replacement project that's going down. Thank you for the residents. You should be receiving door-to-door information when your sewer service is going out for 24 hours while they do the connections. So far, so good with Encinita, and the traffic that had to be restricted on Las Tunas is going to be for at least another week or two. But they're moving along at a pace. They got out of Oak Avenue very quickly for the opening of the school last week, so we appreciate their partnership. Also on Rosemead Boulevard right now, north of Longden, Sunny Slope is doing a major main line replacement as well, water line. So that roadway is a bit restricted right now as well. So we appreciate everybody's patience as everybody goes down Rosemead Boulevard. Live Oak Park, the removal of the last playground that was in good condition, it will be happening next week. It's fenced off. We are tracking right now the equipment, the playground equipment and shades that are coming. So things are moving along very well, and we are on time, and everything is moving according to the current schedule. So we're very excited by that. Early 2025, you will see a beautiful new playground with the rocket and everything that goes with it. Lastly, we were about to inform the community about some modular offices that were going to be across the street for some of our offices on the eastern end of City Hall, but due to some great work by the contractor and our project management team, TransTech, we will not have to do that.
Right.
So our roof replacement will happen, but it will not cause any dislocation of offices over the next couple of months as well. So thank you, and thank you to the council, one, for your guidance, two, for the funding to do these much needed projects in the community and for our City Hall, our base of operations. This roof will be done in between council meetings as well, so we don't think we'll have to, at this point in time, we don't think we'll have to move a council meeting to a remote location either. So we're looking in pretty good shape. That is it for my report, sir.
Did you want to say anything on the progress on Las Tunas?
Oh, thank you, Mayor Chavez. So some of you may have seen some of the repainting of the light poles. Fun fact, the paint that's applied to the light poles is the same strength and material that are on roller coasters. And apparently, and I think Mayor Pro Tem Yu, this is his wheelhouse, apparently that is supposed to last for decades, essentially, according to the manufacturer. So if you've seen some of them, they're working and they're actually repairing some of those poles. The poles are about $800 a piece to do this repair and repainting work. That in comparison to about $7,500 to $10,000 for a pole placement is money well worth it. If you go from east of Golden West, you will see the LED lights that were just installed today by our partners with the county public works department as well. And you'll start to see the decorative lights that are a little harder for them to do the kits for over the next couple of weeks as well. So by the end of September, you're going to see a whole new area of the city with beautifully painted light poles. The traffic signals are a little bit trickier because of traffic control, but that will be happening over the next couple months as well. The new pavers, and to take care of where we saw the degradation and sloping and other issues with the sidewalk. East of Encinita is a portion of that is done as well. So things are moving along very nicely.
Thank you. Okay. With that, we will move on to item 12, update from our city attorney. Mr. Murphy?
Unfortunately, no report tonight. I will have a report at our next meeting. Thank you.
We'll look forward to that. Bated breath. Thank you. Okay. Item 13, council reports regarding ad hoc or standing committee meetings. Anybody attend any meetings since our last council meeting? I don't think so. Okay. All right, then we will now move on to item 14, council items separate from the city manager's regular agenda. We'll start with Councilmember Chen. Anything to add?
Just very briefly, with regards to the tragic incident that I think, as news just got out in the papers that happened last Saturday, it affected me in more ways than one because having really focused my law enforcement career in the enforcement of drunk driving, DUIs, and having received multiple awards by a mother against drunk driving, it's just a tragic incident all along. I kept thinking, what if it is any of our family members, or if it's my family that I'm driving down Temple City Boulevard? And I know behind the scenes we've really worked a lot on improving traffic safety in the city. I just can't help but to think, what else could we have done? What else can we do? I thank our city manager. Behind the scenes, I've asked him to contact the LASD Traffic Services detail. I know he, through Captain Meza, that connection was made. We weren't eligible for certain Office of Traffic Safety, OTS grants, but I know that the Sheriff's Department's working on that, and hopefully we'll have some operation and some money coming our way. As far as the incident itself, I know it was a major incident that took a lot of, well, our deputies responded. It was a good response by our deputies. I just hope that we can continue forward working with our law enforcement partners. Well, that's for the future, but I won't say too much about it tonight. If I may, Mr. Mayor, if I could request that we adjourn the meeting in memory of the victim, who's a Temple City resident, as more details come out regarding what happened Saturday.
There's 2 victims, right?
Yes.
Yeah, way ahead of you. I have it in my notes already. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. Okay, Councilmember Mann?
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. Yeah, I think to Councilmember Chen's, in his words, I echo the sentiments. I mean, anything that hits close to home, we always wonder the what if. What if it happened to our own family? So that's certainly I know all of our hearts go out to the families affected and the schools, their classmates, anyone who was connected to them. But on that note, I know we, I think next week we do have our regular law enforcement meeting with the sheriffs, and so for anyone who's not aware of that, that's always a great opportunity to get some insight as to how we work directly with our law enforcement. There's a lot of great information that's being shared. They keep a great pulse on what's going on in our community, especially with regards to like traffic issues. That's always a hot topic that we discuss during those meetings. So for those unaware, please join us next Wednesday. Also, I just want to thank our city manager and city staff for all the work related to so many of our construction that we see going on in the city. I know now with kids in school, I have a greater appreciation for how construction impacts areas near school sites. So to that extent, for those who are involved in the water main as well as the current sewer replacement, I do want to tell them that we as a council do appreciate their diligence in trying to make that happen before school started last week. So sometimes these are the kind of details that not everyone might be aware of, but there are behind the scenes kind of communication and coordination going on to try to make things more easier for our community so that they don't have to deal with that directly. So, and I know there's just want also shout out to our Parks and Rec for, I believe our concerts is ended. I actually can't believe it's
So fast.
it's August.
August is almost over.
It's almost over, but we do have some exciting stuff. So I know our partnership with World Journal for the High Autumn Festival is right around the corner, but I know we have another council meeting before that, so looking forward to that. And I'll, again, I want to thank the Relay for Life representatives. I know some of you stuck around. Truly appreciate you coming to our meeting, sharing your plans and your experiences. We are aware that unfortunately our Temple City Relay for Life committee is kind of on hold for a little bit. So it's great to see that there's other members of our community that have been working with the American Cancer Society for so many years. And thank you for the invitation. Like Mayor Chavez said, I think we'll all check our schedules if we'll get back to you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Sternquist. What's
You
going
know,
on with the mosquitoes?
they're out. They're out because it continues to be really warm. The program for sterilization of male mosquitoes is definitely moving forward. So as that becomes more and more in place, I will let everybody know, but definitely continue to not let standing water change the dog bowls if they're outside. I think it's too hot for your dogs to even be outside, but yeah, mosquitoes are out. You know, it's so unfortunate, this situation, and it's just really weighed heavily. I know the family lived on Temple City Boulevard, I think just almost behind me, but all the safety measures that you can put in place, and you have a drunk driver who has had a license revoked, prior DUI, and still thinks it's okay because they've been drinking to get in a car and drive. And I think if anything, I mean, you know, we have Relay for Life, and people are so, you know, engaged in Temple City has been for a long time, and now they're going to partner with Arcadia, and so grateful that you're coming back. But it's just, you know, I've always heard about Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, and I thought, you know, what a wonderful organization, and these people are so passionate. But it wasn't until this took place, and I thought this little girl who was part of our Camellia Festival family and her mother probably just going, what is it, half a mile from where they lived, maybe going to get school shopping or whatever it might be. And I just thought, you know, maybe it's something I would like to do and get involved with. And I think maybe if we could start a chapter in this family, this little girl's honor, or Mothers Against Drunk Driving here. It would be just something that, I don't know, I could feel that something came of this tragedy. And I think sometimes it's just like cancer. Sometimes you sit back, your family's not affected by it, and then all of a sudden, bam, somebody has cancer. And it's a whole different view and outlook that you have on it, and you want to do something. And I just cannot believe that in this day, with all, the new regulations that Mothers Against Drunk Driving have tried to implement, and the laws, I'm so grateful that the law is, going to at least give some justice to this family and to this city, because it's like, it's your home. This is your hometown. We're a small town. People know one another. And I just think if there's anything that we can do, even if you have never been affected before by having a drunk driver kill someone that maybe it's time that we start our own chapter. It's just something to think about. And Ed, you have definitely connections. Maybe you could help me in some way, or we could work together and, get people involved, because, one tragedy doesn't mean that there's not going to be more. And maybe not in our city, but in San Dimas or San Gabriel or wherever it might be. But I think there's times like this when something happens that we kind of just need to take heed and be grateful, as all of us are, because we can all say, oh, but that could have been my kid, right? But what can we do to make it better for other families? So I'd be happy to, follow up with you. And I know that this family is definitely in a lot of our prayers. And I'm sure, Tom, we'll find out from the school district or something if there's anything that the community can do, to help the family. So if you hear anything, Ed, let us know, please.
Thank you.
I think she was going into the 5th grade at Longden.
Yeah.
The principal sent out a very heartfelt email to everyone and published that. But I haven't, Jerry, have you heard anything on funeral arrangements or anything yet? No, I don't think there have been any. Yeah, we'll definitely let everybody know as soon as we hear something.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to echo a lot been said. First of all, thank you for the volunteers who organizes the Relay for Life, and thank you for choosing our city to be representing that, and thank you. And thank you for sitting through our council meeting. Everybody left, but you guys. So thank you for that. We appreciate you guys picking our city and then continuing the good work. I guess we all wish that we could be there that day. And switching back to the tragedy, I mean, it affects, like Councilmember Chin said, it affected all of us here. It affected me in more ways than one. Because funnily, I was driving the same kind of car that got in an accident. It was just an hour ago. I was in the same intersection southbound with my wife. So when I heard the news, I think it affected me, affected my wife. We all thought, what if that was me? Because an hour ago, I was just there, right? In the same intersection. So it's truly a tragedy indeed. And that really makes us think that we should treasure every minute that we have, right? And nothing is given for granted. So, but just want to echo that sentiment. One thing I thought of was there anything we could have done? Was there anything wrong with the intersection? But obviously, it's not because how we design it. It's because, unfortunately, there's drunk driving involved. So that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Well, there's no question. I agree with all of you. All of us up here are parents, and I can't even imagine the worst thing happening is having one of your children pass away, especially under these circumstances. So I'll have more to say on that when we adjourn the meeting, but I want to thank all of you for your heartfelt comments, and certainly our prayers go out to our Geta family. Just a couple of things. Just want to echo, I think with Councilmember Mann regarding our concerts in the park. Hats off. I think Adam's on vacation still, isn't he? Oh, he's back. But hats off to Adam Matsumoto, his staff, Ruby, all our volunteers, to our bands. I can't tell you how many times people came up to me this summer and commented on what a great summer lineup and concert series was. I know Jerry was there at every one of them, and he said the same thing. We had record-breaking crowds, I believe, this year. Certainly, we've returned from our COVID days, and it was good to see. Everybody had a good time, and I don't know what it is about Temple City. It can be hotter than heck on Tuesday and hotter than heck on Thursday, but on Wednesday, cool breeze blowing through the park. Everybody's having a good time. I mean, I had people come up to me from Burbank, from other cities who come regularly. As many of you know, Anthony Portantino attended one of our concerts in the park. I forget, Jerry, what was the band he wanted? Fleetwood Mac cover band, I believe. And it was one of his favorite bands, so he actually made a point just to come to see them. And one of the gentlemen who's from Burbank, who comes to all the concerts, told me, he went up to him and says, "Hey, Temple City does a way better job than you guys at Burbank." So I thought that was a little funny, but I thank Anthony for coming and helping us out there. But it was a great summer concert, and it's going to be a hard act to follow, but I'm sure they're already planning for next year. I had the opportunity to attend a grand opening. Jane, you're still here, so let me see if I get the name right. Asian Art and Cultural Center? There we go. A couple Saturdays ago, I had the opportunity to attend their grand opening. It was very special in a couple of ways. One, they took over the office of Jane's former pregnancy help center. And so when they gave me the tour, it was kind of weird because it's like, okay, I've been in here. And they've redone the building, and they did a great job, but they're using that as their main office. Then they have their studios in the back of right off of Rosemead Boulevard, and did a great job. They're what a great group, and big shout out to Jane's daughters. Sophia and Jessica are part of that program, and I got to see them perform and dance that day. Didn't know they were so talented, but of course I should have guessed. And of course, some of you may know Sophia and Jessica are on this year's youth committee. And so it was very exciting to see them. And a lot of people there, a lot of people I knew, a lot of people I didn't. So it was great. Polly Lowe was there. Tony from San Gabriel, what's Tony's name? Ding. Tony Ding was there. Had a gentleman running for the mayor of Irvine was there.
Oh, really?
Asked me if I'd support him. I said, well, I don't know who you are, but I'll support you. Sure, why not?
Why not?
My son went to school at Irvine, so why not? But nice man, but a great group of people, and we look forward to having them in the city of Temple City, and look forward to more performances in the future. So it's a good deal. Just a heads up, also, my next farmers market little booth is going to be this Sunday. So if anybody's interested in joining me, remember I can only have one member there because of the Brown Act, but if anybody would like to come, we're going to be there probably from 8 to about 10:30 usually. And so we'll be there to talk with people. It's a nice little informal thing to do.
Are you bringing us donuts?
Huh?
Are you bringing
I will
us
bring donuts, yes, of course.
Okay.
Our city manager Cook will bring them, one of the two. You know how I always bring donuts on Tuesday mornings.
That's why I asked.
Okay. Well, I was out of town this morning. And so I walked into City Hall around 5:30 this evening, and first thing they say, what happened to our donuts? I should have reminded you, you could pick them up for me. But, oh well, I'll make it up to them. So, but, yeah, so we'll be doing that. I think that's about it. I don't think I've got anything else. So with that, I will then move on to item number 15, additional public comments. Anybody wish to make any additional public comments? Seeing none, I will close public comments. And of course, before we adjourn tonight, with a heavy heart, of course, this is not a good thing that we have to do, but I think it's very special that we close tonight's meeting in memory of Sabrina, her mother Jennifer, and of course our prayers go out to her father Ray, who was severely injured in the accident, still living, however, and of course her older brother Ray, who was not in the car, fortunately, who I understand worked for Parks and Recreation for a short time. And so they certainly have a big connection to Temple City. And when we lose someone certainly this young and in a family like this, it's such a terrible tragedy, but of course so close to home in Temple City. I think as Councilmember Sternquist mentioned, she was a member of our 2021 Camellia Court. She was a princess. And if not for COVID, that was the year, if you guys remember, we had to cancel the parade and the festival for 2021. I would have been mayor at the time, but of course that was all taken care of. But I think if you remember, we did a little mini parade in, what was it, May sometime maybe? On Golden West. Who was mayor then? Were you mayor? Yeah, you would have been mayor. And didn't we get in that? We were in that kind of ride, just not before anybody, but just to give them the opportunity to ride in a parade. And I think they also did it the next year as well. Like, Dawn's not here, I could ask her, but yeah, terrible tragedy. And like many of you said, it could be any of us. And you know, I wish I had an answer. You know, sometimes there isn't an answer. It's just something we have to kind of deal with. And like I said, I want everyone to hold that family in your prayers, and it's all we can do at this point, and you know, help them in any way we can. And I like the comments that maybe there are things that we can do to try to help in these areas and prevent these things from happening in the future. So with that, we will close in the Argueta family's memory, and may God watch over them and keep them in our prayers. So thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.